Hey guys, today you're going to be creating your very own food web. Let's get started. Step 1. Pick a habitat for your food web to take place. You can choose from the following: desert, prairie, forest, rainforest, ocean, mountain. I am going to go through these steps with you as an example, and so I am going to choose forest. Step 2. Research what animals live in the habitat you chose and how they are related on the food web. The easiest way to get an example of a food web from the habitat you chose would be to open a new tab for Google, click on Images, and type in Forest Food Web. And all of these different ones pop up. If I look at this one, for example, there is a lot going on there. So you can look at it and see it says plants, flowers, nuts, seeds, fruit, insects. These are all the producers. And then we have our primary consumers, all our organisms that eat only producers. Our secondary consumers, which eat producers and some primary consumers, and so forth. Now this is a lot. We only have to have 3 of each. That's on step 3. Step 3, on a piece of paper, begin a rough draft of your food web. Your food web must have the following: 3 producers, 3 primary consumers, 3 secondary consumers, arrows that show the flow of energy. So if we go back to this example with the bunch, you can pick a few different lines to go through. You can also look at some different food webs as well. You're going to pick the ones you want to use. So on a piece of paper, after looking at the different examples that you can find, you're going to pick 3 producers, 3 primary consumers, and 3 secondary consumers to use on your food web. That's all you're going to do for day 1. So at the end of day 1, you should have a rough draft of your food web. Now for day 2, you're going to actually create your food web on a Google slide. Now, when you are ready to do this, after watching this video, you're going to go to your Google Classroom and pull up your copy of this Google slide. You're going to find a blank slide at the end. This is the slide that you will use to create your food web. So, first thing you're going to do is start by putting a title. You can put a title by doing Insert, Word Art, and then my title is going to be Forest Food Web. And it pops up. Now you can change this around if you want. I'm going to move it to the top. I'm going to change the font to Caveat Brush, and I'm going to change the color to red. And I think I'll make the outline black. And you can also change the outline size by clicking up here as well. And there you go. There's my title. I'm going to move it to the center of the page, and I'm ready. The first thing I'm going to do is start with my producers. So I'm going off of my rough draft that I made yesterday, and my three producers are corn, flowers, and fruit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Insert Image, roll over, and I'm going to search the web. And right now I'm going to search for corn. And you can pick the image that you would like to use. I'm going to use this one. And then I'm going to click Insert. And you notice when it inserted it, the image was really large. So in order to make it smaller, you're going to click on one of the corners, like hover over the corner and move it, and you can actually make the image smaller. So now I'm going to start with this image of corn. My image needs a label. That is part of the assignment. So in order to create a label, I'm going to click on Insert, Text Box, And then right next to my image of corn, I'm going to draw a text box and I'm going to label it. My label is going to be corn. And then I press enter. Corn is a producer, so I'm going to type producer by it. Now, it's up to you. You can take your text and you can change the font if you want. You can move it how you want it. You can make it your own and create it however you like. Or you can make it bigger or smaller by using these plus signs. My other producer is a flower. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to Insert, Image, hover over Image, and then I'm going to go to Search the Web. And this time around, I'm going to type in, oh, whoops, I X'd out of it. Insert, Image, Search the Web. I'm going to type in flower. And then you need to pick the picture of the flower that you want to use. You can pick any picture that you would like. That is appropriate, obviously. I kind of like this one. Now I'm going to click on the picture I chose and click Insert. Again, when I first insert it, it's too large. So I'm going to move it and make it smaller by clicking on the corner. Let me show you real fast an example if you don't click on the corner and you change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click undo, undo again, and look, my flower is big. If you just try to make it smaller by clicking here, look at what it does to the shape of your flower. It changes the proportions. So if you ever accidentally do that, all you're going to do is click undo, and then make sure when you're wanting to change the size, you always change it using one of the corners. You can use any corner to change the size. As long as you're using a corner, it keeps the proportions the same. So now I have a flower, and again, I want to create a text box. Now I've already created one text box. So Google has a tool that you can use called copy and paste. They also have a control. You could have this highlighted. You can push Control D, and that duplicates it. But since you can't see me doing that on my keyboard, I'm going to show you the copy and paste feature. So you're going to click on the text box, and then you right click. And then you click copy, and then you right click again and click paste. And what I've done is I've copied and pasted that same exact text box I used for corn. But this is not corn, this is a flower. So all you would do is put the text box where you would like it, and then double click inside the text box, use your backspace key, and then type the correct label. And then I press enter to bring producer down. So far I have 2 producers. My food web must contain 3. So now I need to add another image. So I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Search the Web, and this time around I am going to search for blueberries. Oops, I spelled it wrong, but it still worked. So I'm going to select the picture of the blueberries I want to use. I like this one because it actually shows it as a plant. And I'm going to make it smaller and put it down here on the bottom with my other producers. And then I'm going to use the same text box again and just copy and paste it. Notice I got to make sure I'm actually highlighting the text box in order to be able to copy it. And paste. And then I'm going to move it over here. And even though this is blueberry, I'm just going to put fruit because that's more broad. So I have all 3 of my producers, and they're all 3 have names, and they all 3 are labeled producer. Your food web must have, and again, if you forget, you can go back up here and look, it must have 3 producers, 3 primary consumers, and 3 secondary consumers. So my next my primary consumer that I'm going to add is going to be a mouse. So I'm going to do insert, image, upload, no, not upload from computer, I'm sorry, search the web, and I'm going to search mouse. And here's the different pictures of a mouse that I can use. I think I like this one. It actually shows him eating. So I'm going to click insert. Remember, I am getting deciding on what pictures to use based off of my rough draft that I created yesterday. I'm going to scale this down some. And here's another thing that I can teach you about Google is I don't really need all this extra space over here. You can crop your images. The way you crop it is you right click on the image and you click crop image. And then now you see how there's blue and then there's black. You want to get the black one and you just move it. And you see how now that's grayed out? When I click off of that, it goes away. So now I've cropped this image and now it's a picture of the mouse, just the mouse without the extra background. So I'm going to put the mouse right here and I'm going to insert or copy and paste another text box, copy, paste, and then I'm going to bring it over here by my mouse. And my mouse is a secondary consumer. Actually, not a primary. Secondary consumer. Oh, I did not spell secondary correctly. Secondary consumer. The mouse eats corn, and the mouse also eats grasshoppers sometimes. So let me go ahead, I'm going to add in grasshopper, and then I'm going to show you how you're going to do the arrows, and then I believe you should be able to go from there. So insert, image, search the web, and I'm going to put in grasshopper. I don't know if it's supposed to be one word or not, probably is. But here are some pictures of grasshoppers. I'm going to use this one, insert. I'm going to put my grasshopper picture right here. I'm going to use the text box to copy and paste. I put Control V to paste. You can use copy and paste, Control C and Control V. Grasshopper. And a grasshopper is a primary consumer because it only eats producers. So this is one of my primary consumers. So now I'm going to show some arrows and how the food web connects and how it shows the flow of energy. So I'm going to go to Insert, Shape, and if you hover and go down, it shows you arrows. I don't know, I've never used this one before. Let's see how it looks. So corn is eaten by mice. So I'm going to draw an arrow and see what it looks like. Well, you notice my arrow is not pointing the right way. That's okay. I can click on here and then let's see. Nope, that's going to rotate it. I know I can click on the arrow and turn it around. So there's an arrow. I don't really know if I like that arrow very much. Let's look at a different arrow. Insert, shape, arrows, and maybe I'll just use a regular arrow. So a grasshopper also will eat the leaves off of a corn plant. So I guess what I have to do is draw my arrow, and then this is going to make it be where I can rotate it and turn it. And then I can put the arrow going from the corn to the grasshopper. Now you can change the colors of your arrows. I think I am going to stick with those arrows. You can change the color of your arrows by clicking, and you can make them whatever color you would like. You can make the outlines whatever color you like, and you can change the weight on them as well. So I also think I might make it a little skinnier, so I would just bring it in a little bit. So here's an arrow going from corn to grasshopper. Now I also am going to need an arrow going from corn to mouse because the mouse also eats corn. So I'm going to use the copy and paste feature. Nope, I used cut. So I accidentally made a mistake. No big deal. Just click undo. And now I'm going to copy and paste this arrow. And I'm going to move it so that it shows the corn going from the mouse to the corn going to the mouse also. So I'm going to move it this way, and I can make it a little shorter. And now I show corn going, so the animal grasshoppers eat corn and mice also eat corn. But mice also eat grasshoppers. So I'm going to need to take another arrow so I can copy and paste again. And this time, I'm just going to move the arrow over here to work with it. I want it facing this way because I'm going to show from the grasshopper to the corn. I'm sorry, from the grasshopper to the mouse. And I might even make it a little smaller and put it right here by the grasshopper, going straight from the grasshopper to the mouse. But this is what you're going to do in your food web when you're finished. You're going to have 3 producers, 3 secondary consumers, and 3 primary consumers. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.